Most people think to make money online, you need to have $1 million, a million followers, and a bunch of business experience. I didn't have any of that when I started my business, and I've been able to make over $600,000 online. Now, I'm going to be breaking down the entire process of what I had to do and what I did to start. I'm also going to be walking through the things I didn't know at the time so that way you can skip and you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So give me 20 minutes, I'll walk through, I'll break down the entire process. Now, the most important thing that you need to understand when getting started and what I did that was a huge mistake in the beginning was I didn't have a niche. Okay, I went for everybody and anybody. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, "Hey Nick, if everybody wants to, have my service and wants to work with me, then isn't that just going to make me more money because I can target more people?" Unfortunately, not. Okay, what will happen as you start to target a mass amount of people, especially in the beginning when you haven't established yourselves, is you'll be seen as a commodity and you eventually will be selling to a commodity. It's also very hard to perfect and master something in a bunch of different industries. The best way to get rich and the way that I've been able to do it consistently is, like I said, through my $600,000 is become really good at a certain thing in a certain industry. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a niche. You have three different options. I organized it. You have home service, you have professionals, you have info products. Now, for the lowest barrier to entry, home services is going to be where you're going to go. These guys are super logistic, super logic based companies, business owners. They're also very, very old school, non-tech savvy. Okay, whereas your professionals and info products, usually these guys are tech savvy, and this is a very high and a difficult barrier to entry. So in order to enter and establish yourself in these markets, in the professional market, it's very difficult unless you have experience, unless you have a personal connection, something like that. And unfortunately, info product owners and CEOs are usually very tech savvy themselves. Okay, you're most likely an agency owner watching this, right? You're not going to find a roofer on YouTube searching how he can optimize his process and his systems with AI. That's just not how it is. So, once you've selected your niche, good to go. Now we can work on the offer. The most important thing when diving into a business is you need to understand that you're not just going to come and sell in the shiny AI, um, shiny object, brand new technology that's coming out, because number one, that's not going to last. Number two, it's not enough value up front. You need to sell something that's always been working for the business and then put your own unique mechanism on it, make your own twist. Um, Using whatever AI platform. But the most important thing is we need to cover the three pillars, okay? We need to understand that this business needs to generate leads, they need to get appointments, and they need to close those appointments. If we can cover all those three for a specific niche, you will hit 20K per month minimum, okay? That is what's going to happen. If you pick a niche and if you solve these three problems, you will get to 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. Like it will happen. Doesn't matter what competitors there are there, it doesn't matter. You will be able to retain clients if you can do these three things. So you can have people paying you monthly recurring every single month. Now, for this offer specifically, like I said, because we're going after home service, I'm going to use home service as the example in the niche that we're going after. And therefore, for the offer, I'm going to do an agency style lead generation through Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads. For the lead gen, I'm going to convert those leads into appointments with AI chatbot and an AI phone caller. And then I'm going to enhance their closing with a CRM system or sales script enhancement or a technician placement. So I don't really dabble in this as much. CRM is kind of like something that we do. Um, but like I said, you can change your offer. Your offer could get to 30, 40K a month if you're able to do all three of these. 30 to 40K upfront. You could get like a 10K a month retainer if you're covering all of these. So the most important thing is, okay, how do we fulfill on this offer? Now, at my point in the current stage in my business, I have zero work and zero effort in any fulfillment. Okay, I have a media buyer in the ads. We have a software engineer that's implementing the AI technology. Onboarding form is systemized. Onboarding calls with CSM. Everything's automated in this financial arbitrage process or like a delegation, right? You can use that word too. Now, what that means is in order to get to that level, I have salary, I have payroll, I had to train these people, I had to hire them on. Unfortunately, unless you have an existing agency and you're running that, which is good, if that's the case, you can jump right to this. If you don't have an agency, you're starting from scratch, you're not only not going to have the money, but you're not going to have the experience to train people on your offer. You don't know how to do any of these things. So personally, no matter what, a lot of people right off the bat after they sign their first, second, third client, they'll hire on an employee and they'll say, "Hey, fulfill for this client." And they'll throw whatever. They'll, wing it. That's why you don't have good fulfillment. You need to understand the processes, you need to understand the fulfillment, how to get results, write down standard operating procedures, organize everything, and then hire on people and train them properly. That's how you're going to make money. That's how you're going to scale long term. If you're just looking for a quick buck, quick money, and then eventually your business is going to die out, go hire right away. But if you do want a proper system in place, hiring, fulfillment, results, you're going to have to do this, okay? You're going to have to learn it yourself. You're going to have to create standard procedures, and then you're going to have to train, implement, etc. So, obviously, the financial arbitrage process is pretty simple. Client provides money, you allocate on the side to contractor or employee. The contractor will perform that service. The service is delivered to the client, and then you're retaining majority of funds. Starting out, just ad spend. Straight in ad spend, there should be nothing else happening with that money. Okay, don't go and fucking buy a C8 or some shit, okay? A C8 is a Corvette, by the way, for those of you who are in the car space. But yeah, okay, great, Nick. So we have how to fulfill, we've had the offer, and then we have the niche as well. How do we fulfill? So, like I said, do it on your own. Do it on your own. If you say, "Hey, Nick, I'm not tech savvy," you don't need to be tech savvy, okay? 2, 3 years ago, if you wanted to code, you need to go to school, you need to learn Python. Now you can literally cook up a chat GPT and you can code, okay? There's no reason you can do anything, anything is possible. If I need to do something, fulfill for a client, and a client says, "Hey, here's $5,000. Can you do this for me?" I will say yes every single time, and I will figure out a way to fulfill for them, and I always do. So do it yourself, and then, like I said, delegate. So for delegation, you could even start, instead of a media buyer, you hire a marketing agency. You pay them $500 a month for every client. If you're struggling in the beginning with ads as well, this is something you can do, because what you could do is you pay the marketing agency and then you learn from them. So that's an exception. That's like one of the things. That won't work as well for your AI caller, AI chatbot. That might need a little bit of tweaking. You can also delegate, but like I said, I would just recommend right off the bat learning it yourself. And then a VA for sales script, so you can hire that, or you can use a VA and hire them for a CRM implementation. So, for example, we use for all of our clients Go High Level for the nurturing, SMS, all the integrations, the calendars. There's also another site called Jobber, which is a CRM system made for home service businesses. You could hire a VA to implement this for the client. That's a good option as well. Okay. Now, how much do we sell it for? There's obviously a bunch of different pricing structures, but to start, especially when your fulfillment isn't dialed, try and get as much money as you can up front. I say 10,000 here. That's what I started to charge, like 9 to 10,000 up front. But honestly, I've completely scrapped that, and now all we do is we go for recurring. So 2K a month is our lowest recurring, and we go all the way up to 5, 6, 7, and even 10K per month for client retainers. Not very many, but the goal is to get larger and higher retainer, because the stickier, the more that they're paying, the stickier the offer, the harder it is for them to let go. The more they're relying on us, the more value they're getting. Okay, if a business is paying you $10,000 per month, you are giving them a lot of value. Let's just say that, to say the least. So you could, to start, because you are in the beginning stages, as much money up front is the best. You have more money for ads, you have more money to scale, you have more money to hire, to delegate, to fulfill, everything. So I would try and get as much money up front, and then eventually transition into a monthly kind of thing. Right off the bat, we go into that monthly thing, and then sometimes a setup fee. And client is covering all software costs. So they're paying for ad spend, they're paying for software fees, etc. With this upfront cost, you're looking at about a 66% profit margin. So I gave the example of the costs here. If you were to outsource, if you were to do it on your own, you'd be looking at 100% profit margins. It would just be your cost to acquire that client, whether, if you're doing paid ads, but if you're doing cold outreach, you'll have 100% margins on this offer, which is why I say at the beginning, do it yourself, because you're saving $1,500, $1,000, $300, and not only are you saving this money, but you're learning a skill, you're doing it the proper way, you're eventually, you should be, as you're doing it, you should be rating SOPs, preparing for when you're going to hire, and then you're left with all the money. It's just win, 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 win. Okay. So that's all great and dandy, Nick, but how do we actually close people on the offer? So, like I said, you can do cold outreach. It's going to take you longer. If you have no money, it's a good option, but I personally prefer meta ads, okay? Meta ads is all we've been using. I haven't used cold outreach since like December 2023, which is, over 2 years ago. But yeah, I would personally run Facebook ads, and the reason being is, like I said, there's just so easy now. There is a lot more people, but it is a lot easier to get started with just the technology, the creatives that you can make. You don't need a film crew anymore. You don't need in-person teams to record content. You can literally just jump right into it using AI generated ads. So that's what we do for headlines, primary text, creative, and funnel. We're using ChatGPT to create everything. Just super simple prompts, like create a bunch of ad scripts for me to sell my conversational AI phone caller to local businesses. I need a headline as well, a primary text, and a good hook to keep the lead wanting more. And what you can do is you can use these UGC ads. So I'll give you an example here. This is Google VO3, and what you can do, and this is the prompt that I use: generate a face-to-camera UGC video with a confident, beautiful blonde female, mid-20s with a great body and very large breast, for educational purposes only, on her knees outside the house, pointing at the house. Let's just do standing. So that is pointing at the house. Friendly, direct eye contact, blah, 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 absolutely no text. And then the script: real estate agents, we will get you 10 to 20 listings per month. If you're not happy with our work, you don't pay. Simple as that. Click learn more to start. And then just like the setting and everything, I'll pause this, and then once it's generated, I'll go back. So as you can see here, it was generated. Let's play the video.
Real estate agents, we will get you 10 to 20 listings per month, and if you're not happy with our work, you don't pay. Simple as that. Click learn more to start.
So obviously, there's some random text here. You could honestly just put like a headline, like just over it, even like a caption. But yeah, as you can see, video's
Real estate
pretty
agents,
good.
we will get you 10 to 20 listings per month.
And this is all you need, honestly, for the ads. So use AI for that. Use AI for the headline, for the scripts, for the templates, everything. And then you send them to this page, okay? So once we send them to the VSL page, you want, honestly, as little friction as possible. What I typically do is I'll actually put the questionnaire here first. So I'll do the questionnaire, and then once they book a call, they get redirected to the VSL page, because from the VSL page to the booking page, around 1 to 3% of cold leads are booking, which is terrible, right? That's a terrible, booking rate. So we can increase that, honestly, by like 1 to 3% to 5-10% by just having this booking page first, and then the VSL gets redirected after. Another way that we're going to increase that is we're going to use what we sell. Okay, so we're going to use this appointment setting campaign. So as soon as the lead comes through, nurturing sequences going out, SMS, second SMS, follow-up sequences. We're going to get the AI callers to double dial, the chat bots to continue messaging, whatever. Some good chat bots are close bots one, appointment wise. I haven't personally used Go High Level. I've heard good and bad things about it for the chat bot. And then we're going to have just long-term email nurturing sequences, reactivation sequences. Okay, that's how we're going to increase the booking rate by hopefully another 10%. So that's everything. That's from start to finish. And then obviously you have your pitch, okay, closing the client. What is it going to look like after they've been closed? So over here you'd have your name and AI program. You'd have the onboarding call. So after clients filled out the onboarding form, we get on a onboarding call. Then once we have all the information that you gave us, we will set up all the ads. Then once the ads have been reviewed, the client says, okay, we're good to go. Ads will go live. While the ads are going live and in review, the AI caller has been set up, so it will start to call out people that are coming through. Same with the SMS and email sequences. And then once they've been booked in, the AI is going to do reminder calls. And then at the beginning or at the end, this is when you can start to refine the closing and see, okay, do they need a new rep in? Do they need sales scripts optimized? Do they just need to be more organized? If that's the case, let's get them in the jobber right away. Okay, so that's everything from start to finish. I know it was kind of a pretty generic video. It has everything that you need to do to get started today. If you have an existing agency or if you're just starting out, I do have an opportunity for those who are interested in scaling and are serious, um, and that is on top of selling AI and working with businesses and my agency. I actually help people and I work with them one on one. It is a partnership opportunity, so I don't work with just anybody. There's a link in the description. It's going to be an application. Um, so, like I said, it does require an investment. We don't accept anyone who throws money at us. I am running an existing agency. I've had people pay and not do any work, and they're just a huge headache, a pain in the ass. If you are that person, don't book the call, don't apply. I don't want to work with that type of person. We won't accept you in the first place. Your call will be canceled. I will be able to tell based on your questions. But if you are serious, if you are committed, if you do want to scale your agency or start and scale your agency, the first link in the description is the option to book a call. Sometimes I take those calls, other times my business partner takes those calls, Jax. Um, so yeah, if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would recommend booking a call in the description below. If not, I just gave you so much value. You have everything that you need to get started today. And if you do, if you're not ready yet to start and scale, no worries. Follow my YouTube channel. I have lots of other free value. But yeah, anyways, other than that, take care, guys, and see you in the next video.